Thank you very much, Phil, Des and the crew. Really excited to be here. Can see about half your faces, the rest are under masks, so what a shame. Because this is an unusual format and we're transmitting via Zoom and it's a slightly weird presentation for me, but look, Rex Minerals, we've got a booth here. Come and see us afterwards. We've got some good stuff, we've got some core, and we can take you through the detail. But just indulge me and let you give you a little bit of a flavour of what's going on in South Australia and what's going on with Rex Minerals. You can see a lot's happened. I won't elaborate on that slide, except to say that in the last month, we've totally revised the board. We've brought on a new chairman, Ian Smith. For those of you who don't know him, he was the CEO that took Newcrest from broken and busted and turned it into a $30 billion company. We've also had, by the way, he also ran Olympic Dam for about 6 years and was a big deal in Rio Tinto. So this guy knows copper, he knows gold, and he knows how to build a company. I've also got a new director called Greg Robinson. He was also CEO at Newcrest, and Greg brings with him a wealth of experience in finance, not having just run a mining company, having come out of BHP and Merrill Lynch. So we've restocked the board with some awesome crew. We've got a non-exec director called Ron Douglas who joins us from Ausenco. It's like a 2IC over there. I don't think there's a copper build project he hasn't been involved with anywhere in the world in the last 5 years. Rex is getting ready to go. It's getting ready to rock and roll. What is Rex? We've got two company-making assets. I'm going to focus on Hillside, our copper project, but I'm also going to talk to you about Hog Ranch because this is a gift to shareholders that's just getting better by the day. And let me just give you a little flavour of that at the end of the presentation. This is the indulgence. I'm not going to preach to you about copper, but I want you to take a moment. Those of you who haven't seen this slide, you should have. This is a hinge in history. We are sitting right today where that picture was taken in New York at the turn of the century. One car. So everyone then already knew that cars were on the way. One car. 13 years later, no horse and carriage. We all have seen a Tesla driving around the streets. By 2025, even Jaguar won't make a petrol car again. You won't be able to buy a V8 Jag. It doesn't matter what we think. That change is upon us. And it's all about energy. I'm here with a copper project, right? Copper's not just a battery metal. It's the metal. You can use silver, you can use aluminium, it's been substituted as much as it can. But whether you're generating power, transmitting power, or utilising power, if you're not using oil and gas and coal, you're using copper. There isn't enough of it around, and that situation's only going to get worse. Great time to be in the copper business in Australia. Where are we? South Australia, the Gawler Craton. It has already delivered some of the biggest copper discoveries in the country. Olympic Dam, of course, is the big daddy. Prominent Hill was an awesome discovery. Now we've got Carrapateena, one of the highest valued companies today in Australia is obviously Oz Minerals. We don't have anywhere near their valuation. We're not turning out copper. But we've got the fourth biggest discovery in South Australia at Hillside. And boy, we have some exciting tenements to get on with and explore on the Copper Coast. That's the good gear. If you want to come and have a look at it, we've got some of the core at our booth. You can see the iron ore in it, the copper and the gold. That's a bit of a look from the air. Flat, rolling hills. We don't have to clear any forest. It's farmland. We own the farm that we're sitting on. We got our licenses approved and issued in 2014. We got our environmental permits issued in the middle of COVID last year. And we had the legislation after 70 years in South Australia changed. and implemented at the beginning of this year. All the planets are aligning and along comes the copper price. It's a great story and it's getting better. Here's the gear. This is just a simple long section of our project. And the reason I put it up here is the reason I produced this slide was to show our new chairman what lies beneath the stage 1 pit. And have a look at some of those grades. We've got true widths from 15 to 60 metres, nearly 100. And we've got grades of plus 1% up to nearly 3% copper. That's in our resource, that's all underneath, that's not included in the economics of our stage 1 pit, which is what we talk about. That's a look from a computer dump in Vulcan, just looking straight through. It's not a particularly meaningful slide, but if you look at the purple, purple's high grade, right? And look at all the purple at depth. When I peel that away, you can see the green pit, stage 1. That's the first 14 years of this project's life. That's what we've had approved in our environmental permit in South Australia. Stage 2 is a cutback. You just go to the next stage. Keep mining. Next stage, stage 2. We just want a higher copper price. We've been living through a universe of $2 to $3 copper. In a universe of $2 to $3 copper, stage 2 is not a big deal. You don't really want to go for it. You go north of $3 copper, oh, stage 2. Another 15 years, awesome. And then in the light blue, we have shaded underground potential. That's the next big exploration target for Hillside. So this is a mine that already has 2 million tonne of copper and 1.4 million ounces of gold in resource. 800 holes and 240 kilometres of drilling tell us that. It's been discovered. That's a little aerial view. Just gives you a flavour of the first 14 years of life, 35,000 tonne of copper, 24,000 ounces of gold. If you like the copper story, you've got to like the gold story too, for a very different reason. And this is what's happened in the space of a year. 12 months ago, I couldn't get an investment banker to, they begged me not to talk about copper. Everyone loved the copper thematic. No one wanted to talk about it. It's coming tomorrow, it's coming tomorrow, it's coming tomorrow. Well, it's here now, right? And all of a sudden, the value of this project has escalated dramatically with the copper price. What does it look like? This is a slightly different perspective I'd like to just throw at you. Do you really want an investment in the Congo right now or in South America? Not me. All of a sudden, Australia and North America are starting to sound like pretty sweet destinations, right? We're in Australia. That makes this project unique in the copper universe as a development option. Our costs are low, they're second quartile. C1 costs of $1.38 a pound, all-in sustaining costs in the $1.61. So we can make good money, away we go, we're off to the races. You know what else? We don't have to pollute the planet too much. We're not clearing forests. We don't have to build train sets to nowhere. If this was Winu in the middle of Western Australia in the desert, you'd have to put $1 billion in front of our number to develop it. That's for the capital that you have to deploy. We don't have that issue. We have a highway to our doorstep and Port Adelaide's already been built for us. There's our export. When we published 12 months ago, $4 was the upside case. We called it the Elon Musk case. Well, since then, a lot of people have come along. Joe Biden's the latest to start to make the upside case, the case we're all going to have to get used to living with, right? There are a whole bunch of metals required to electrify planet Earth. Copper's but one of them. Now, I mentioned gold. I have a little bit of time left. I just want to throw this to you. Rex Minerals is obviously an ASX company. At $2 copper, in the middle of COVID, life was looking pretty grim. We traded our shareholders into a position at a project in Nevada, USA, called Hog Ranch. It's a great name, remember it. I think Hog Ranch is going to become something special. I stood up here at this conference the first time. Rex doesn't do a lot of conferences nowadays. We haven't for the 5 years I've run it. We've done none. I stood up here 2 years ago And I said, oh, we've just bought this gold thing in Nevada for $600,000 and shareholders got whiplash. What are you doing? Right? What are you doing? You spent $170 million in South Australia and you bought what? Moose pasture. It used to be run and operated by Western Mining, WMC. I used to run the gold business for Western Mining. I knew the guys from Hog Ranch. In fact, I employed them into Western Australia to build our heap leach for us at St Ives. We bought that, it had not 1 ounce on it. I was hopeful of finding 200, 300,000 ounces. That's the 0.2. We've now put 2 million ounces in front of it at a cost of less than $1 an ounce. We published a scoping study, it's not in the presentation, but this is low strip, low mining cost, low heap leach operating costs. Australians can't get their head around it. Can you get your head around a total all-in dollar per tonne, dollar per ore tonne of $10? That's what it's costing us in Nevada. That's how they make money in Nevada. That's how they built some of the biggest companies in the world. 18 months, 2 million ounces. It's far exceeded my expectation of 200,000 ounces, the 0.2. So 2.2 million ounces has been a great outcome. And now the veil's lifting for us on what we're seeing in Nevada. This story's just growing. In truth, it's probably growing beyond Rex's capacity at the moment. It's a very exciting story. It makes us a twofer. We don't carry any value in our share price. No one even knows about the hog. The hog's going to be a real winner for shareholders. When I bought it, that little thing at the bottom called bells, that's the only thing we were interested in. That's turned out awesome. It's now 500,000 ounces, 560,000 ounces alone as a starter pit. The thing there called Krista, another oxide deposit, means if we pull that whole thing together, wow, this is a significant producer with 2 million ounces ready to go from surface. Right? This is from surface with a 0.5 to 1 strip ratio. But now all of a sudden, we've quadrupled the licence area we're going to explore under because we have some outstanding targets to go for. If you come to our booth, we'll take you through the technical story a little bit. It's really exciting. Hog Ranch, remember it? I think it's going to deliver some value at some point for our shareholders and make a big difference to the Rex story. So what is Rex? We're a 2-for-1 company today. We've got our copper project in South Australia and we've got some of the best exploration for copper that you're going to come across on the Copper Coast, part of the Gawler Craton in Australian copper elephant country. But then for nothing, you get Hog Ranch thrown in. And if you're a small junior operating in North America now, what would you give for a 2 million ounce discovery that costs less than $1 an ounce to bring along in 18 months? I'm more than happy to talk about the hog as well because I think it's another exciting arrow in the quiver of Rex Minerals. Anyway, thanks very much. I hope I see you at the booth. If not, really appreciate your time. Thank you.